heard of, and some were even frowned upon, to demonstrate he was indeed the Savior of the world and forgiven the sins of all that he had forgiven the sins of all people that had sinned at that time. Jesus took thinking and witnessing out of the box by turning water into wine in John the 2nd chapter and 11th verse. Jesus did what most would call nasty and unclean by healing the man with leprosy in Matthew the 8th chapter 1st through the 4th verses. Jesus defies all odds by healing the blind man by spitting into dirt on the ground and making clay in John the 9th chapter, the 1st through the 12th verses. These powers, signs, and wonders are all out of the box. Now you're thinking, how do we take God out of the box? And the answer to that is extremely simple. Do the unexpected, do the unthinkable within reason, and follow the simple guidelines that make you set apart and chosen. I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. My storage closets in my home are neatly packed with boxes from when I moved from the great city of Lexington to Atlanta, Georgia, a little over a year ago. Boxes of various sizes, neatly now organized and labeled. Some are labeled kitchen, some are labeled Christmas decorations, the others are labeled shoes. These boxes serve a purpose, and how meticulous I am about being organized shows you how I have my home organized as well. I believe your home is your peace, so I find peace in cleanliness and organization. I have a touch of what some people would call obsessive compulsive disorder towards organization and function. I mop daily. I take my trash out morning and night. I make my bed up military style each day, each and every day. Why? Because I grew up in Hazel S. Taylor's household. When she showed me how to make up a bed at that time, she didn't know what military style beds were, but she showed me how to make up a bed. Now it has a name, and it's called military style. Whether I'm coming back home in 15 minutes and getting back in my bed or going away from 8, my routine every day is waking up and making my bed. Why? Because it's a direct habit. Thank you. My clothes are organized and color coordinated and separated in 5 different closets in my house by pants, dress shirts, suits, blazers, and shoes. My love of shoes is a whole nother story. That's why people call me the preacher in the sneakers. My kitchen is my greatest accomplishments because that's where I find peace. It's where I connect with my grandmother when she's no longer here with me. My cabinets and drawers are labeled by forks, spoons, knives. Now, when you come to my house, you're going to think I'm a little bit nutsy cuckoo because I'm that organized. Why? But that's the way I like my home. I come in my home, I know where things are, and I find peace in those items. It's important in life to have my opinion, to have structure within reason. Do I have days when I leave Mac and I want to take my clothes off and leave them in the middle of the floor and sit in the air conditioning? Yes, absolutely. But 5 seconds later, after I do that, it's not going to happen. But I've learned to accept the things I can change and move past the things I can't, which is an adaptation of thinking out of the box. Just like God instructed Noah and Moses, he gave them specific instructions on how to build an ark. What you see here is a semi-replica on the screen of what the ark would have looked like per Jesus' instructions being built. There should be another picture following this one that is the Ark of the Covenant, which is what I was reading initially here. My first lesson in today's message is simple. It's okay to have well thought out structure in your life. Structure is necessary for preparation. Everybody thought Noah was crazy building the ark until it started raining. The entire household of Obed-Edom was blessed for 30 years because they guarded and kept the Ark of the Covenant as instructed by God. Another way we can live and operate is to take God out of the box. One of the most important lessons about taking God out of the box is communication. If you fail at communication, you've essentially lost the whole ball game before the starting pitch is thrown. There's a quiz that was created a few years ago that lets you discover your love language. It answers questions. It gives you questions, and you're able to determine how you best communicate and are loved by people. Mine, for example, is physical touch. I like spending time with you and spending time with my family. I like going to dinner. Anything that has to do with quality time, I'm all in. But that also means you can't buy me a Louis Vuitton bag as an apology. It's okay to teach people how to love you and communicate with you. 3 things I've learned from relationships is to stop investing in people who can't keep a minimum balance in their checking account. Now, let me explain that. I'm not just talking about money. Stop paying attention to broken people. When you continue to pour your life into broken people, and it all ends up on the ground because you've invested your savings into someone who couldn't hold a deposit. So that's I want to hold the mic so Facebook land, okay. So Facebook land and everybody else can hear me. What I mean by that is pick and choose who you're going to love the way they're going to receive it. Life, and give them the pieces of you that are worth giving to them, but also be selfish pieces of you that you need to keep precious within yourself. Does that make sense? Stop paying attention to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. I think that went over. Stop paying attention to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Sometimes you have people in your life you can talk to all day long. You can tell them you love them, you can do it, you can put action to it, you can go to their house, you can send them cards, you can say, let's go out to eat and all this kind of stuff, and there's always some fault in the communication you have with them because they're committed to seeing the fault in your situation. So then you have to make the decision to say, hey, I'm good. You can respect them, but it's okay to pull back. You don't have to agree with everyone. Exempt in being the topic of conversation over source. When you're the head, you also become the headliner. One thing about me is I'm confident. I looked at the ground when she walked. She was very, I don't want to say prideful, but she was very